if we think about what we're going to get this time, we are estimating what kind of answer might we get if we subtracted we started with a negative 2.1 and we added on another negative number. So you can think of it as having some baddies and more baddies come along, being in debt, and then having some more debt added to that. You've got an awful lot of debt. So when we think of our estimate, our answer is definitely going to be negative. It's going to be a lot of negatives because that's all we're dealing with. So let's go on to our number line first of all. We start with our first number, negative 2.1, so zero's over here somewhere. So we're on the negative side, and we can rethink adding a negative number as subtraction, which means we're moving to the left this time. So I'm moving to the left by 1 and 0.2. So first I'll move by 1. So let's move one whole. So I was at negative 2.1. Now I've passed negative 3. Now I'll just pop that in there. I'm at negative 3.1 now. So I've passed negative 3. There's negative 2, negative 1, and 0, and so on. And now I also need to subtract another 0.2. So negative 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. So here I am at negative 3.3, and that will be my final answer, negative 3.3. Makes sense. It's plenty of negatives there when you're putting those together. Okay, for the algorithm, I might just go back to the original form that we had, which was negative 2.1 and negative 1.2. We know the answer will be negative. That's our extra thinking. So all we need to do is add these two numbers up and then put the negative in at the end, because again our algorithm can't work with negatives. So 2.1 and 1.2, we're going to add those up. 3.3, that's a nice straightforward one, no renaming. We know the answer is negative, so we add that in at the end with our algorithm. It can only get us so far. Good so far. Let's have a look at the fraction form. Negative 2.1 is the same as negative 21 tenths. There's my tenths, and I read back from there. Negative 1.2 is the same as negative 12 tenths. Find that tenths column and read back from there. Now I can add these up. Negative 21 tenths plus negative 12 tenths. My denominators are the same. I was clever to set that up early. So now I'm looking for negative 21 plus negative 12. That's a lot of negatives being added together. So altogether I've got negative 33 tenths. I'll put the negative out the front, and I think of it as 33 tenths. You don't have to do that line. Simply moving the sign so I can think about the fraction. And then I need to change to a mixed fraction. 3 wholes is equal to 30 tenths, and I've still got another 3 left over, which is 3.3. And you could also go straight from here. If you know that 33 tenths looks like that, and the answer is negative, you can get there sooner if you wish. I've left off my negative there. So there's a few different ways to go. You can see that all the time though, they always lead to the same answer, and having a few ways to do it is a great way to check that your answer's making sense and working well.